Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we talk about all that trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing 90 Day Diaries. So we're not going to do anything on the top of the episode. We're just going to hop right in to Season 5, Episode 4. Take a chance on me. I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm so free. Take a chance on me. Okay. I'll do my very best. Okay. All right, I'm done. For now. Don't put ABBA in my brain because I will literally play ABBA for literally in my brain forever. So here we go. Jenny and Sumit. This is very Jenny and Sumit heavy, this episode. So they are packing to go to Thailand, which we kind of know they're already going to be doing. They're going to be meeting up with David and Annie while they're in Thailand. David is trying to sell his condo to them because he wants to get rid. He has two. He wants to get rid of one. Jenny doesn't really want to leave India. She doesn't permanently. She literally says, I don't want to come back to India owning a condo in Thailand. So Sumit has not traveled outside of India before, so this is going to be a new experience for him. Then we see David and Annie. We do the introductions. David likes Jenny and Sumit because with the similarities between their relationships with, David being, the age gap between the two relationships, David and Jenny being the older ones and the Americans and them being with younger people from an Asian country. So, yeah, but yeah. And he says that, we like to eat and both Annie and Sumit like to cook. So there we go. Jenny and Sumit have now landed, and I wrote here because they're all hugging and stuff like that. Not a single person is holding the phone. And I said, who's filming? Because I thought this was so filmed. Who's filming? Someone's there, and I want to know who it is. Is it Annie's friend? Is her friend? But if she was the one filming, she would put herself in that camera because she is that person. Come on now. Anyways, I don't know who's filming. I want to know. But anyways. So David is going to sell Thailand to these people because he really wants to sell this condo. And he wants to sell to them, I guess. And he kind of says, there's so much you can do here. You can go out for 24 hours if you want. And he's like, stop it. Jenny's not going to go out for 24 hours. She's going to be tired. She's going to want a nap. Stop it. No. She's going to go for a few hours. That's it. I love Annie. So, they kind of stop at these different places. They got street food and doing all the other places. We see water buffaloes. It's a whole thing. He is selling the experience. And David actually mentions here, and I thought was interesting, is that he said it's probably less expensive to eat out in Thailand than it is to actually cook at your own home. Interesting. So, I don't know if that's true or not, but anyways. So now we're going to be heading to the condo. It's quite small. Very, very small. It's cute though. It's a cute apartment, but it's very small. And Annie says, here's the boom boom room, which is also quite small. And then they said, let's sit down and sell this place, I guess. Because he's really putting on thick about how much he wants to get rid of this place. Anyway, they both agree the condo is very nice. Sumit wants to buy it. He actually wants at this point, David and Annie are gone. So it's just the two of them talking. And he says, he would like to buy the place. But as Jenny says, what would you do here if you were to move here? And not only that, she also, I think at some point in the show mentions, I'm just starting to build a relationship with your mom. How are your parents going to feel if I just up and took you to Thailand? Because that's what they're going to think. They're not going to think it's a mutual agreement. They're going to think she's stealing my son. So I don't know. 3 days later, because they're only going to be there for 3 days, they're going to get fish massage where the fish eat the skin off your feet. Annie explains it's not like the fish take their hands and massage you. And I'm like, Annie, honey, we know fish don't have hands. But nonetheless, we know what the fish are actually going to be doing. So Sumit says that it's ticklish, but it also has this kind of these sharp little like pricks as well because of their teeth. So anyway, Jenny is kind of not sure about moving, as we know. She says India is home for her. And as well as mentioned, she doesn't want to impact the relationship that she has with his parents. So they really don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to do it or not. I guess we'll see. But that's it for Jenny, Sumit, David, Annie. Let's go to Jess and Brian. Like I said, we're going to go through this so fast. So they bought a house. He's producing an album because now he's gone solo. I guess he was in a group before. I don't fucking know. They're going to be going to Utah to shoot his music video for one of the songs that he has off of the album. He's already working on the second album, he says, while they're driving to Utah. Good for you. So she tells him here that she doesn't think she wants to have kids in America, or I don't know if she necessarily said she wants to raise kids in America or if she wants to birth children in America. I got a little confused as this went on. As she says, like, it's expensive to have kids here in America, which they say just to birth your child is $30,000 and it's free in Brazil. I can't say it's in hindsight, actually birthing your child is free here in Canada, but you do have to pay for the room at the hospital if you were to go to a hospital. And depending on your coverage, like you might only be able to do a semi private, or like if maybe you do get a private, whatever, but you might have to pay the difference for the, like, whatever you want to do. So that aspect of it isn't free, but the actual birthing your child is free. So he says he needs to think about this, which is understandable. We find out here that because we do know that she actually went to Brazil to have something like have her do some testing on herself. And we actually find out here, I'm not sure if you knew this before, but her mom died of uterine cancer. I feel horrible for her. But she says, obviously because of this, she does have to be checked, periodically. So they get to the place to do the filming. He literally slips and falls on whatever the hell he's on because he's so excited, I guess. But that's kind of that for that. And then 1 week later, we're having a party to have this music video launch, whatever kind of party. Sure. The song is called Escape. His voice is actually, if that is really his voice, I'm actually surprised at how good he sounds. He actually is not he doesn't have a bad voice at all. But the clothes changing thing was part of the concept of the song. So it's supposed to be like showing him shedding his clothes and like upgrading. It was a weird concept. It was it didn't make sense to me, but whatever. He says here though, and they're in the moment, that he is open to having a baby born in Brazil. So great. Now Jess is dancing with some friend of hers doing flips and tricks, and that's the end of that. Moving on to Amber and Daniel. Again, not much here, but he is now working in construction. And I also then wrote, "Hi, Ashton. Ashton's back." And Daniel and Ashton apparently are very close now that they don't live together, I guess. Amber is going to be going to a jewelry store. Because she says she only has the wedding band. She would like to have a ring. But she just wants to make sure that's going to be within budget. And she says that she thinks the budget would be about $1,000. So then Ashton kind of starts stirring the pot here and says, you know what? Can we look at a ring that's about $2,000? Sir, are you going to pay the difference? And she puts the ring on. She loves it. She's like, I didn't think a $2,500 ring would feel so good on my finger. And I said, how did we go from 1,000 to 2,000 to 2,500? How did that happen? Anyways, 2 days later, Daniel's birthday. Daniel tells her, by the way, Ashton texts me about like this ring that you found and the price of the ring. But he does say, you know what? I've been saving. I've been doing pretty good. I'm gonna get you that ring. And she says actually here, she's like, no, like don't break the bank. Like don't break our budget. Like if we can't afford it, we can't afford it. And he's like, no, no, no. I'm gonna get you the ring you deserve. I love Daniel. Anyway, she's going to get that ring soon eventually. And that's basically it for Amber and Daniel. Let's move on to our last person, Aryanna. I love her with the less weight of Sherlon. I actually happy to see her here without Sherlon. It's great. So Odin is 2 now. And she's been doing a lot of working out. She actually lost 90 pounds and she's just has about 10 more to go. And her goal was to lose 100. So she's been doing the work. Good for her. Like, that's incredible. She has not talked to Sherlon in 9 months. As we know, he is married and she mentions it here. And her trainer / her friend is like, oh, so you weren't good enough for him to marry, but he married this other person? She's like, yeah, it's fine though. It's her problem now. She's like, she doesn't care. She's over it. Which is true. That is someone else's problem to deal with. And she says, like, they haven't spoken. He hasn't asked about his kid. But she says at the end of the day, an absent father is better than an inconsistent father. So bye-bye. And I agree. But again, and I hate to say this about my men, but some Jamaican men, not all, but some Jamaican men do this. They make babies. They have babies. And some of them decide, I don't need to be around that child and I don't care enough and it's not convenient for me anymore. It's like I can provide for this child. I can't see this child. I can't do any of those things. And I'm just not going to be a part of the child's life. What's the point anyways? That's what they think. Now, I don't know a lot of men in my life who have done that, even if, and I do know someone, I'll leave it at that, but I do know someone who is in a position where he is not near his child because he is in Jamaica and the child doesn't live in Jamaica. And as far as I know, I don't know everything, but as far as I know, he still has a relationship with that child because at the end of the day, it is not the child's fault that you can't physically be in that child's life or physically provide for that child. If you decided to have this child, whether it was on purpose or not, as soon as you decide to stick it in there without protection, you've made a choice. So own your shit and be a fucking father to your child. Stop making us all look bad. Stop making all Jamaican men look bad because it's not helpful. Like, come on. And again, like I said, not every Jamaican man, some of them do. Men like Sherlon, and it's not just Jamaican men. All men are capable of it. But I see him and I can look at his face and say, I know men like him. I've seen men like him. Or heard of men like him. And it's men like him that do exactly what he just did. And me too. I actually said that to my mom too when we were watching the show. I said, the fact that this child's name is still Odin, he doesn't get that. He doesn't want to be a part of this child's life. I would have changed his name so fast. But the thing is too, is I'm not sure she ended up submitting the birth certificate information. So if she did, she can't change his name now. If she didn't, with no person to have to come back to and ask permission to change his name, she could have changed his name. Anyway, she's not dating much right now. She doesn't want to bring just anyone around Odin, which is fair. And I'm happy she said that. But she is ready to get back out there. So later that week, she's going to be going on her first date in a long time. So she gets to the restaurant. She's waiting. And she's waiting. It's been 15 minutes and she's still waiting. And her face at one point too, she's like, what the fuck, man? Like, why isn't this guy here? 30 minutes later, she's still waiting. And she says, you know what? I'm going to take the check. I'm going to fuck off. Like, this is ridiculous. And I said, don't waste her time. Like, I don't know what this guy knows, but this woman has a child and you're wasting her fucking time. If you don't want to go on the date, then don't go on the fucking date. Don't pretend you want to go on. This is so stupid. Anyway, a few hours later, she's getting older money for bed and that's it. So I'm happy to see her. She looked great. She seemed happy. She's doing her thing. And yeah, so next time on, we're going to be seeing Jovi and Yara, Ben and Mahogany, you guys. I can't wait. This is great. Oh my God. Fernanda and Noelle and more Courtney. This is going to be a great episode, but that is it for this week. So if you like what you heard, please rate and review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Again, we're on every different podcast app that you desire to use. We're also on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, TikTok at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. You can email us at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. We have a website at solo.to/reality tea times 2. Don't forget, I also have another podcast with my friend Mikkel called the Next Take Podcast, where we have conversations and discussions about just about everything. And you can find us at our website at solo.to/Next Take Podcast, YouTube at Next Take Podcast. But that's basically it. Again, don't forget, if you rate and review us on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and the 5-star rating, I will rate that on the podcast. But that is it for now. Thanks, guys. Bye.